Marsha Rodriguez, and I am the surgeon lead for Team Texas of Operation Walk. I want to thank you for coming out today for a wonderful Clays for a Cause. Our event benefits Women Orthopedic Global Outreach, and our mission is to provide the gift of mobility to those in need. So again, I thank you. Today I want to cover the basics of being a trapper, which is a key volunteer position here at Clays for a Cause. Today we're going to cover the safety of being a trapper as well as the details of how to operate the device that actually throws our sporting clays for our participants to shoot with their guns. So again, there's guns involved, and so we definitely need to focus on safety. So as a shooter, we will be arriving with our guns in our hand. We will have on some eye protection and some ear protection. It's important that all the shooters abide by some pretty standard safety measures. These will all be addressed to the shooters in a separate video. What a trapper needs to know is that these shells should not be placed inside the gun until the shooter has entered the box. This is the shooting box. Every station will have one. When the team of 4 shooters arrive, most of them will put their gun inside the stand. However, the first shooter will be entering the box to start the competition. As a trapper, you have to make sure that that shooter does not load these shells into the gun until they enter the box. Again, every station will have a box. This one's denoted Station 1. Once the shooter is in the box, they'll put their gun to the front of the box, and that's when they can go ahead and load their shells. Every shooter will most likely arrive with some eye protection and some ear protection. It's super important that the volunteers definitely have ear protection, but you'll be provided that ear protection at the very beginning, so not to worry. So it's important as a volunteer that the trapper stay behind the front of the box. The trapper should never go in front of the box because that's the unsafe area.
Greetings, welcome to Station 1. Here's our scorecards. Great to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. So I'm Team 1, and this is our score sheet. There are 4 members to every team. So there will be 2 sheets of paper, and this will record the shots for all 4 team members. So John Doe is team member 1, Susie Smith, team member 2. We have Tammy Thompson and Jack Black. So all of these will be handed to our trappers. So today we will be shooting 15 different stations. So our teams will arrive with 4 people per team. You will be assigned a station or a stand. We hope to have 2 volunteers per station or stand to record the number of clays or birds, we like to call them, that are actually hit. So what we are referring to when we talk about birds are actually these clays. These clays break when they're hit by the gun. These clays are thrown by a trap like this. This machine, whenever you push the button, will dispense one of these clays or birds either into the air or across the ground so that the shooters can go ahead and try to bust them. So these are birds or clays. Each shooter will be given 6 birds to shoot. So on stand 1, you will notice there are 6 columns across here. There's a column for each bird that is thrown. Okay, so if the shooter kills the bird, which it only takes a fleck, meaning if you see any orange come off of that clay, that is a hit. It doesn't have to burst, just one little fleck of orange. They will put an X. If the shooter misses the bird and you see no explosion of the clay and no fleck of orange, you put a 0. Obviously, the object is to hit 6 birds at each station. So, again, there will be 2 volunteers per station. One volunteer will be in charge of keeping track of the shots, and one volunteer will be in charge of actually throwing the clays. So, for the person in charge of keeping track of the shots, you'll notice here that shooter had XOXXOX for a total of 4 hit birds. And then when that shooter is done, the volunteer or trapper is to say 4, and the shooter will agree, and you will initial with your initials, Robin, if you will, so that we can verify the accuracy at the end of the tournament. So a report pair is when the trapper sends 1 bird, the shooter shoots, bam! As soon as you hear bam, you hit the second blue button, and therefore there were 2 birds at that chance. You then mark shots 1 and 2, whether or not they hit those birds. The next 2 birds are going to be what's called a true pair, which is simply pushing the yellow button. The yellow button sends both clays at the exact same time. That will be shots 3 and 4. And again, you record those. We then press the yellow button for the last 2 birds to be shots 5 and 6, as such. So as you can see, pushing these 2 buttons sends 1 clay at a time, whereas pushing the yellow button sends both clays at the same time. The shooter will put in the shells, will close, and then we'll say to the trapper, pull. As soon as the first shot goes off, the trapper hits the second blue button. And then we are done with those first 2 birds. Pull. So we will demonstrate all 6 birds at one station, as seen here. Again, 1 report pair, 2 true pairs. Pull. We will reload for the next 2 birds. This is a true pair. Pull. Shots 5 and 6. Again, a true pair. Yellow button. Pull. So each station is a little bit different. Again, we have 15 stations. This is station 2, so be careful along this bridge. So the shooters will all be shooting off of the center of this pier over the water, as you can see. So, similar to station 1, the guns will go here. Our trapper will be over here to the right, and our shooter here in the center of the box to shoot our clays, which will be coming out over the water.
Hi, I'm your WOGO volunteer. I wanted to explain to you what you're going to need as a volunteer. You need to make sure you check the weather for San Antonio the day of the event. You may need an undershirt, you may need a rain hat or some kind of visor if it's sunny. So just make sure that you've got your clothing correct. You'll also want to make sure that you've got a boot or some kind of something that you won't mind getting muddy. You don't wear your brand new Louis Vuitton, red bottom shoes. thing you want to make sure that you will be provided with earplugs, with the pen, with anything you need for the event. We'll have some waters for you. If you don't have, we also there's nowhere to sit for at the station, so you'll need to bring a chair. If you don't have one, some of our volunteers will also be bringing chairs. But in between shooters, there may be a 10-minute lag, so you'll want to make sure you've got somewhere to sit and you're comfortable.